So what I wanted to say, Matt, is a couple of weeks ago when I think it was right after the second Seahawks game, and we were saying, okay, they have the Bengals. If I remember correctly, they had the Bengals right after the Seahawks,
Yep.
the Falcons, the Titans, the Texans, and then the Rams. And I remember we said they could probably go about 3-2, still make the playoffs. We didn't think they'd beat the Bengals. They beat the Bengals. We weren't sure if they were going to drop an easy one to the Falcons. They took care of business at the Falcons. They dropped a close one because of their own mistakes to the Titans. If you would have told yourself 3-4 weeks ago, hey, they're going to go, 2-1 in this 3-game stretch with the Bengals, Falcons, and Titans, would you say, okay, I'll take that?
Yeah, I would. It's just the ugly nature of this loss is concerning.
I hear you.
So
it's not that they lost. I think it's how they lost is what you're saying.
Right.
Because it's stuff that happened so easily. I'm at a loss of words, honestly, trying to put this loss into perspective. I just think that the 49ers, the way they played their first half, and then once again, Matt, came out flat in the third quarter, second half offensively. Why can't they just score any points in the third quarter? Why?
I don't know. Because Jimmy Garoppolo, that's why. I mean, honestly. And, the injuries to the running game don't help, and they've had to rely on Jimmy more than they would like to. But it doesn't help. The turnovers really killed them because the 49ers, had 100 some odd more yards than the Titans did. They had almost 2 yards more per play than the Titans did. They had more first downs. Total plays were the same. They won time of possession by a minute, but those 2 turnovers played the factor in what was going on. So it wasn't good, man.
And, looking at the stats here, I remember when the first half ended, Tannehill had 40 yards passing. 40 yards passing. The defense was playing lights out. They gave up a couple of, plays, but
and
for
40 yards
part,
passing on like 11 completions or something. Like his yards, it was like 14 attempts and it was like 40 yards. These yards per attempt were terrible.
Check out these stats. Nick Wagner of ESPN tweeted this. Jimmy Garoppolo tonight, 20 of 22, 186 yards and a touchdown on throws, 5 or fewer air yards. 6 of 13, 136 yards and 2 interceptions on throws, more than 5 air yards. That's atrocious. That's embarrassing.
Yep.
So, and real quick, before we wrap things up, I just want to say our writer Ted put out an article yesterday morning.
Yep.
And it was about, are the 49ers going to suffer a Titanic collapse in Tennessee?
And
it was a play on words. Titan. We got a lot of pushback for that. A lot of people were saying this is clickbait. A lot of people were saying you're negative. A lot of people were saying the Titans are trash. And at the very end of his article, he even said, I don't think they're going to have some massive loss, but they might lose a close one. And that's exactly what happened. So people, for some reason, were underestimating the Titans all week leading up to this game. So just maybe take a second and consider these are still NFL teams. They were getting healthy. They had just lost a very ugly one to the Steelers.
Yeah.
They were fighting for first in the AFC. They had a lot to play for, more than the 49ers, arguably. So, wanted it more.
I had said this yesterday. I worry about those corners. If the defense is not getting home like they need to, and they had 4 sacks, but I mean, against 3 missing starting offensive linemen, they should have had more.
Yeah,
to be
honest,
honest,
7.
You're leaving your guys out on an island, and when they did that, it exposed them. Yep. Thomas and Norman were both exposed. Now, Julio Jones didn't do anything, but he was out there as a threat. And, even if you didn't think, oh, Julio Jones is doing this and this and that, the one guy you couldn't let kill you was A.J. Brown, and he killed you anyway.
Yep.
So when they couldn't get home, it wasn't because they didn't game plan for A.J. Brown. I can tell you that. I guarantee you that they did. But the fact of the matter is that A.J. Brown is just significantly more talented than what they put against him. And when that happens and you're not getting to the quarterback in a timely manner, they're going to eat your lunch. And when you have Jimmy Garoppolo, who's just going to turn the ball over a ton and, not get the ball past the sticks. I mean, there was a sack that he took where he had Deebo Samuel underneath. And yeah, there was a guy behind him, but you never know because Deebo has slipped tackles before. Well, he didn't throw it. He took the sack. And it's really frustrating. Today was one of those games where you really are just like, I don't know if I can let this team like break my heart like this anymore. It's just one where you're just so disgusted. And so like you could kind of see it like when Jimmy threw that red zone pick, I was like, I think that's a momentum change right there. So not great.
It really was. And you could feel it. You could feel it happening. The crowd had been silent. They're getting into it. The defense was getting up. AJ Brown later in the game got up, did a little dance. It's like this momentum has completely shifted. And now the 49ers have only themselves to thank. Yes, Jimmy Garoppolo, but overall, it was still a team loss. Other facets of the game, the defense couldn't get off the field. Mainly Jimmy Garoppolo. Don't get me wrong, guys. Mainly Jimmy Garoppolo is responsible, but there are still other facets at play here.